Philip Schofield is to step down from This Morning with immediate effect.
Good morning. Right, we've got a packed show for you today. Phil Vickery is live.
He says he's doing what he can to protect the show he loves. Also tonight, Zelensky joins world leaders in Hiroshima as America says his military can have F-16s. And
Manchester City are champions of England.
Arsenal lose in Nottingham and the title goes to Manchester.
This is ITV News with Geraint Vincent.
Good evening. It is one of ITV's most successful programmes and Philip Schofield has presented it for more than 20 years, but no longer. The persistent speculation about his worsening relationship with co-presenter Holly Willoughby was apparently the reason for his decision. He said the show itself had become the story and ITV had decided the current situation couldn't go on. As Willoughby said the sofa would not be the same without him. Neil Connery reports.
See you on Monday. Bye.
Bye.
When Philip Schofield said goodbye on Thursday's episode of This Morning, there was no indication it would be his last. ITV says he's agreed to step back to protect the show he said he loves.
Wow.
You don't know.
Well, I've done very well. Yeah.
Holly Willoughby will remain co-presenting with other members of This Morning's family. Philip Schofield said, "I have always been proud to cover fascinating stories on This Morning, but recently This Morning itself has become the story. I understand that ITV has decided the current situation can't go on." The presenters were criticised last September after claims they'd jumped the queue for the Queen's lying in state, claims they denied. Yesterday, Philip Schofield's brother, Timothy, was sentenced to 12 years in jail after being convicted of child sex offences. Today's announcement follows media speculation of a rift between Schofield and Willoughby.
They held on as long as they could. They've been as professional as they could. They've looked at this and think, are we going to bow to the Twitterati and the tabloid media? But I think they've got to the point where it wasn't getting any better.
You're on about...
Holly Willoughby thanked Schofield, saying the sofa won't feel the same without him. ITV praised Philip Schofield, calling him one of the best broadcasters of his generation, saying he would continue working with the channel. Neil Connery, ITV News.
And the Prime Minister is being urged to order an investigation into allegations that the Home Secretary asked civil servants to arrange for her to attend a driving awareness course privately after she was caught speeding. The Sunday Times claims that the officials refused, and so one of Suella Braverman's political aides then asked the course provider if she could avoid having to take the course with other motorists. Labour and the Liberal Democrats have asked the PM's advisor on ministerial interests to look at the issue. Ukraine's President Zelensky has welcomed the US government's decision to help supply the Ukrainian military with F-16 fighter jets. He's in Japan for a meeting of the G7 where he's met Rishi Sunak and other leaders. From Hiroshima, here's our political editor, Robert Peston.
The guest of honour has landed in a French government jet at the G7 summit of the leaders of the world's richest nations. A special hug for Britain's Prime Minister, who suggested a whole month ago to President Zelensky that he make his case in person here in Hiroshima for Ukraine to receive more military and financial support. Even before he arrived, one of his most important wishes for fighter aircraft to build up his small fleet was granted because President Biden lifted his ban on the transfer of F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine after Mark Rutte, Prime Minister of the Netherlands, wrote to him asking for permission to transfer some of his planes. Biden's national security advisor made clear that these jets are to help Ukraine against Putin's Russia in the months to come, not immediately, not least because Ukraine's pilots need training.
We've reached a moment where it is time to look down the road and to say, what is Ukraine going to need as part of a future force to be able to deter and defend against Russian aggression as we go forward? F-16's fourth-generation fighter aircraft are part of that mix.
And in a meeting with France's President Macron, Zelensky was cautiously optimistic.
I'm happy that there are very positive signals.
Here they are, some of the most powerful people on the planet, mostly men you notice, who've already agreed their priorities for the next year. Probably the most important part of the leaders' 40-page communique is a warning to China not to abuse its economic might by engaging in what they call economic coercion. That's bullying to you and me of other countries, and not to attempt to take Taiwan by force. Rishi Sunak believes he's had an influence with an agreement to cooperate on global migration and cracking down on people smuggling, and also a plan to build up the resilience of infrastructure and supply chains so that our economy, our prosperity is less fragile. This city, Hiroshima, is a living reminder of the tragedy of global conflict. Russia tonight warned Western nations they were taking colossal risks by supplying the jets. The G7 leaders are here showing their resolve in supporting democracy, whatever Russia's bullying rhetoric. Robert Peston, ITV News in Hiroshima.
The Sinn Féin Vice President Michelle O'Neill has hailed a momentous election result, with her party becoming the largest party in local government in Northern Ireland. As the election count nears its conclusion tonight, Sinn Féin has 138 councillors elected so far. The renowned British author Martin Amis has died at the age of 73 after being diagnosed with cancer of the esophagus. He is best known for his darkly comic novels Money and London Fields. The Booker Prize described him as one of the most acclaimed and discussed novelists of the past 50 years. Finally tonight, Manchester City have been crowned Premier League champions for the fifth time in 6 years. A 1-0 defeat for rivals Arsenal against Nottingham Forest. There you are. Sorry about that. Spelt the end of their thin title chances. Chris Scudder was watching.
While champions City have demolished everything in their path, Arsenal just haven't been able to see the wood from the trees. And running into a Forest praying for their very Premier League survival was Arsenal's final undoing. They only had themselves to blame again. Odegaard's wayward pass allowed Morgan Gibbs-White to set up Taiwo Awoniyi.
It's Awoniyi!
A goal as crucial as any that Forest had scored all season. Just when the Gunners have needed their shooting to be at its sharpest, it's deserted them. How they'll reflect on what might have been after being 8 points clear at the top at the start of last month before collapsing under pressure. As 3 more points slipped away, their frustrations boiled over, and that was that.
Manchester City are champions of England!
Forest had looked as good a bet a few weeks ago to go down as Arsenal had to win the league. So this was special, survival in their first season back in the big time. But for Arsenal, reflections on one that got away. Chris Scudder, ITV News.
And that is it for tonight from all the team here. Good night.
Today we'll see warmer temperatures moving in from the east, especially around tea time. Heinz Beans sponsors ITV National Weather.
Hello there, good evening to you. We continue with a two-way split in our weather as we head through into the second half of this weekend, all courtesy of this weather front straddling Scotland and Northern Ireland, bringing cloudier skies and outbreaks of rain. Through England and Wales, it's dry, clear skies, temperatures dropping away, cold enough for a touch of grass frost come dawn, and some pockets of mist and fog forming too. So as we head through Sunday, we continue with cloudy skies. There will be some brightness here and there through Scotland and Northern Ireland, but further outbreaks of rain. The rain fairly light and patchy. Through England and Wales, though, it's dry, sunny skies once again, although a bit of cloud bubbling up across southeastern parts of England through the day. But temperatures still warm, 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. And worth mentioning that UV levels high in that sunshine, so if you're out for any length of time, do take extra care. The good news, high pressure dominating our weather into next week. We've got some decent weather to come and some warm temperatures too. Bye-bye.
Heinz Beans sponsors ITV National Weather.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV London Weekend Weather.
Hello there. Very good evening to you. I hope you've been enjoying the sunshine that's been across much of the capital through today, and that's all been thanks to a very large area of high pressure. Temperatures have been into the low 20s, and it will continue that story through the rest of the weekend and into the start of next week too. It's all thanks to the Azores high, which is stretching across the country at the moment. Still, we're on the edge of that, so there still is some cloud across the northwest of Scotland and Northern Ireland. But for us, as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours, we hold on to some clear skies. There'll be some amounts of cloud just tending to come and go. The breeze coming in from a northerly direction, but actually for most of us, a fairly quiet night, and temperatures should hold up between 7 and 8 Celsius. We start first thing tomorrow morning then as we go through much of Sunday. Yes, we'll see still some sunshine, the clear spells holding on through most of the day, but the cloud just tending to thicken up as we work through the afternoon. Still with some warm, bright and sunny spells, and temperatures once again reaching up to near 18, if not 21 degrees Celsius in the capital. That's 70 in Fahrenheit, but do take note that UV levels are now creeping towards the top end of the high category, so just take care if you're out in that sunshine. We hold on to the area of high pressure into the new working week too, with dry, fine and sunny weather to come. Good night.
Vaillant sponsors ITV London Weekend Weather.